this one for the young dudes because it's important because you as a young dude, you got to understand something that's very, very, very important. Two entities that you more likely going to run into that can potentially destroy your life or make it the better or whatever the case may be, is women and it's other dudes. You understand what I'm saying? Like naturally, but like if you're heterosexual and everything like that, women, they can be a big distraction. They can be a factor that can really destroy you, especially when you're younger. You know what I'm saying? And then other men, they can, or other like young dudes just like you, they also are a factor that you could potentially do something with that can alter or destroy your life for the bad. And this is why it's so important to understand the value and the understanding of ego and understanding your ego as well as other people's ego, because you're gonna have to navigate other dudes' egos, and that sometimes will be one of the most difficult things that you have to do in life. Okay, because a lot of times when you navigating other egos, either y'all about to fight or you in some way shape or form have to figure out some type of common ground, especially like with dudes whose egos out of whack, and then they feel like they can do whatever they want to do. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna see this like in sports. You're gonna see this in dudes who got a lot of money and stuff like that. But you're gonna have to navigate through that and figure out how to deal with these type of individuals without always resorting to violence, because if you do, violence is going to land you in jail. You don't always want violence. And so when I say all this is in no way, shape, or form meant as a way to be, it has nothing to do with any type of weakness. And what I mean is, it's like when you're younger, especially when you're younger, it's almost like, especially like when you talk to other dudes, you see life in black and white. Either you weak or you strong, you soft or you that dude, you rough riding or whatever the case may be. It's this dichotomy. It's like you either on one of those two fields. And oftentimes, this is why you could potentially find yourself in really bad positions, because now, based off of this principle where you only got these two ways of life, either you soft or you strong, now you put ego on top of that. Ego oftentimes is going to put you in positions where you're going to make the wrong decisions. It's because what will satisfy your ego is what will satisfy you at that moment. But oftentimes, sometimes you got to let your ego go, or you got to understand how to humble yourself enough to not make bad decisions at critical points in your life. And what I mean with that is, like with ego in general, everybody on this earth has ego. I got ego. Everybody else got ego. Ain't a damn soul on this earth that doesn't have ego. Ego is not all bad. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so a lot of times I talk about ego and I say ego in a negative context, and I got to do a little bit better with, balancing it out. But ego is just like with anything else in life. It's as cliche as it is. Life is always about balance. So, in terms of ego, there's a healthy level of ego, and then there's a very destructive level of ego. The healthy level of ego is, you know who you are. You know you're not about to let nobody punk you or do anything like that. You know what you're worth, what your value is. You understand those things, and you're ready to get up and fight for what's yours. You're not about to back down. You're going to stand up for what is right. You understand? You understand, like, no, this is who I am as a man. Like, I'm a man at the end of the day. I'm going to go out there and get my money. I'm going to provide for my family. I don't need no other man to provide for my family. I'm going to provide for my family. There's healthy levels of ego out there, regardless of what this doggone toxic masculinity in these fools is talking about nowadays. Don't be listening to these people. You understand what I'm saying? But the destructive level of ego is, you feel like you always got to be on top. You feel like, you feel like you always got to be the one that get the last say so. Or you just, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like certain things like that where, you don't want to appear to look a certain type of way. That sometimes can be a destructive level of ego, for the simple fact that now that you don't want to look a certain type of way, or you don't want to be perceived a certain type of way, you're going to make decisions that you're going to later regret. You got to understand the amount of men that are in prison right now, and some for the rest of their life, if not for a good chunk of their life. They are in there because they made a decision based off their ego. They didn't understand how to be humble at times in their lives. They made a decision based off their ego. And because this dichotomy that exists with a lot of dudes, especially younger dudes, immature dudes, their idea of life is either you weak or you strong, soft or strong. Only one of those two. And so you're going to be put in thrust in situations, especially as you want to move forward in life and advance. That damn devil going to come up after you. Heck, it might be God, but I'm telling you, the devil will come at you in different ways. A female is going to be one of the first ways. And then the second one is these other dudes up out here. You got to understand, a lot of dudes, they are very, very insecure on the interior. They're very insecure. A lot of dudes, they don't know a damn thing, especially in 2024. A lot of people are being raised primarily by their mother, and it's not a knock on a mother or nothing like that. But a woman cannot teach a man how to be a man. She can't do that. And people will sit there and act like you saying something that's just so rude and disrespectful when you say something like that. But then when you turn it around and you as a man says, I don't need no woman to raise my daughter, I can raise my daughter, they will try to snatch that child from your hands. But when it's on the opposite, people looking at you like you crazy. And so understand, like, no, that's wrong. But no, you got to understand, in this world that we have nowadays, a lot of dudes, they're not taught how to be a man. They're not taught anything. And if you go out there and you try to act just like how a woman will act, you're gonna end up in prison. They're going to have a lot of ways, a lot of programs and things like that. Even when a woman, even when she mess up, especially like in her youth, there's going to be safety nets to catch her. But for you, there's not going to be any safety nets. Nobody going to give a damn about you. Nobody going to care when you get those felonies. Nobody's going to care when you in tight positions in your life. Nobody going to care. And I know that's a harsh reality, but the majority of people is never going to care. They're not going to care. And you cannot act like how your mama act or your sisters gonna be acting or whatever the case may be, because there's a different standard for you. And understand, of course, everybody gonna say no, there's no other standard, everybody's the same. That's a goddamn lie. And that's what I'm talking about with you as a man. You got to understand these things, especially even in your youth. You got to understand these things. The world will lie to you, especially if you a young black dude. And I'm not trying to get on this, but they will tell you lies. They tell them young white boys lies too, but they're going to tell you even more lies. And you got to understand that you got to siphon through all of that stuff, because I'm telling you, if you don't, you're gonna be, your mind and your thought process and the way that these people be setting it up. They want you to be either a simp, or they want you to be a dude that's out there just running through people. And I ain't saying that you ain't got to be ruthless at times, but sometimes you do need to go onto a side where you got to understand the importance and the value of people, not in the sense that it's a weakness, but you got to understand that you don't want to burn every bridge off of ego, off of a broken mindset. You don't want to end up in prison. You understand what I'm saying? You don't want to end up in these places, because I'm telling you, they be trying to make it look like it's fun. You see them rap videos. You be hearing about these dudes. They glorify going to prison. They glorify going over here doing this, doing this, getting felonies, da 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 da. That stuff look cool when you're young, but until you in it, and then you realize, yo, this ain't nothing to play with. This ain't nothing at all to play with. And it's like a lot of dudes, I'm telling you, they learn that stuff way too late. They learn it way too late. They learn it when they realize, when they close that prison cell door, do realize, yo, I got to spend the next 25 years of my life in this place. 25 years. And you don't want to go through that type of hell. Wishing, hoping, praying like, dang, man, I got a miracle to get up out of here. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, they will tell you lies. They will tell you lies. They don't want you to be a man, but then they're going to sit around and say that you are not man enough. They try to tell you to do something opposite of being a man, and then turn around and lambaste you when you act and however they've been telling you how to act. You got to understand the game that they play. They put you in this mental prison, this back and forth of what a man is and what a man ain't. And so you got to understand your value, your core root of who you are as a man, as a person. And you got to learn that in time. Usually, a lot of times you got to spend time by yourself, and you got to sometimes be a loner, because when you're around other people, you become whoever you're around. And if you do not want to stay in situations for the long term, you got to understand that you got to make some short term sacrifices to have long term benefits of what you want your life to be like. And I'm telling you, ain't nobody else gonna care about your life like you gonna care about your life. Nobody. And so you got to understand that from a very young age. Even when you mess up, if you're a dude that messed up, you got to understand, look, you got to take personal accountability. I'm telling you, nobody is going to care when you are the one that you are at the disadvantage, when you got a felony, when you got all these problems going on, you got all these baby mamas that's going crazy and stuff like that. Nobody going to give a goddamn about you. Nobody. They going to look at you and say, okay, nigga, handle it. And you're like, what do I do? And that stuff can lead you to a depression, because it's hard, because you don't even know how the heck to get up out the hole. And then you got to advance forward in life. So there's dudes that's in those situations. They understand, and they got to do a lot of work to pull themselves up out of that lifestyle. They got to pull themselves out of all that stuff. You can do it, but my man, why would you want to? Why would you want to? It's like trying to drive blindfolded. You could probably do it, but why would you want to? You don't need to make your life harder than it already is going to be. And that starts off with understanding who you are as a person. I can never accentuate that enough. And that takes time, and it takes time alone to figure out who you are as a person and what you value as a man, who you are as a man. I'm telling you, a spiritual component is extremely important. If you don't believe in God, I'm telling you, you better get a relationship with God and try to do your best to tell the truth and try to do stuff that is what is right, that you know is right, even if everybody else gonna look at you as a square, even if everybody else is gonna look at you a certain type of way and just gonna like walk away. Because what you're gonna do is, if you follow the crowd, you're gonna become just like the crowd. You're gonna end up in them prison cells. You're gonna end up in places in your spot, your life. You're gonna end up in the grave. Do you know how many dudes is in the grave? A lot. A lot of them dudes is in the grave. In no way, shape, or form I'm telling you, you know, you ain't gotta be afraid. Fear has nothing to do with it. It's in understanding wisdom. The first thing is you got to get a spiritual understanding and a spiritual grounding, and got to get good with God in a lot of ways. And the first thing is trying your best to do what is right and telling the truth, you know, to a large degree. I mean, everybody lie, everybody do things that they not proud of and stuff like that. But when you stand on a solid foundation, yeah, people might not want to mess with you when you're younger, or like when you like that. You might not be necessarily in the in crowd, but I'm telling you, it will always pay out in the long run. You ain't got to be afraid and looking over your shoulder every 25 seconds because you're afraid that all the dirt that you did about to come back and haunt and come back on you. You ain't got to be out there just be heartless, ruthless, and all this other stuff in a negative way. Because again, everything's a balance. There's a healthy level of being out there heartless and ruthless, but then there also is a destructive level that I'm telling you, you do not want to be in those places. But they try to make it look like it's cool to go to prison. They try to make it look like it's cool to have all these damn problems that, oh, I got shot. I'm the hardest nigga out here in the street and stuff like that. They try to make all that stuff cool until you going through it. You realize this ain't nothing cool about this. And they got an agenda and stuff like that going. They got you and they want you to fit a certain mold. They want you as a nigga, they want your ass in them damn prison cells to benefit up off of you. And I'm not talking about this racial stuff like I'm trying to get on white people and all white people are bad or evil. That stuff is irrelevant. That's another distraction that people will come in and try to hit you with. Yes, they're going to try to have certain agendas to get you in certain places, but it's all about business. It's not even necessarily personal. Is that justifying these people's actions? Absolutely not. I'm talking about you got to understand the game that's being played. You sit there and you look at that stuff from an emotional standpoint, you're going to get dragged. You're going to end up in them damn prison cells. You're going to end up on CBS News. You're going to end up in a damn grave. And I know that might seem grim and horrible, but I'm telling you, this is the reality of people's lives. It's the reality of their lives. It's not to say that you do everything right, but it's like you make it a stand at one point in your life. Okay, I'm gonna do what is right, what I know is right, what God will want me to do. You need to get the approval of God, not the approval of man. You get the approval of man, man is gonna turn on you. Man is gonna leave you. Man is going to take all the dirt that you did, and then they will blackmail you. And then now you a puppet to whoever is blackmailing you. Again, you always anxious. You always in the space of anxiety. You got people that you cannot trust, and a lot of that stuff is stemming from what you have done. You going through all this crazy stuff, and it's stemming from what you have done. It's not to condemn you. Everybody do bad. Everybody be doing stuff that they're not proud of. In no way, shape, or form is that meant to condemn you as an individual, because everybody do it. Even if you had did some of the most horrible things, you shot like 7 dudes, it's not to say that, man, you still can't get your stuff right. It's not to say that you can't get it right. And so that's what you got to understand. But the first thing is, who are you as a person? That is something that you and only you can understand. Your mama can't tell you who you are as a person. Your daddy can't tell you who you are as a person. Your brothers, your sisters, your aunties, your cousins, your community, the people on the west side, the people on the east side, the boys on the block, the hood, the gang, whoever, the president of the United States. Not a goddamn person on this earth can tell you who the hell you are as a man, as a person, but yourself. And oftentimes, to really truly figure out who you are, you got to go through isolation, and then sometimes you got to go through hell. You're going to go through trials and tribulations in your life, but understand that stuff comes to make you stronger. I know it don't feel like that, especially if you knee deep in it right now. It don't feel like that stuff at all. It feels like you're going through hell, and you are. But the blessing comes when you get to a point in your life you realize why you were going through it. You understand the value of peace when you went through so much hell. You understand what I'm saying? You're going to understand the value of peace when you go through a lot of hell. But you'll also start to recognize in time what you will and what you will not tolerate. Who you are as a man. If you a type of dude that maybe you more traditional, whatever case may be, you'll realize I don't want no female that's out going out to a club all damn day. Why would I get a girl that's all going out to the club all damn day? I might be, we might have some fun, but it's like you already know you're not gonna take that person serious. But if you don't know, but sometimes you got to get with a woman that go out to the club all day that you realize I don't want no woman that go out to the club all the goddamn time, because it's like no, 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 I went through all that. And now in the future you can pick a woman that's much more suitable for who you are as an individual, as a man. You see what I'm saying? But you sometimes gonna have to go through hell with somebody that is what you think that you want, but you don't. But when you're younger, you just don't know what you don't know, especially if you ain't got a father there. I mean, a father that's actually active in your life and is keeping you and is putting you on game, is teaching you stuff. A lot of dudes ain't got that. I personally didn't necessarily have that. And so you as a man sometimes got to go through things. Even those who have a father, they still got to go through things in their life. So it's like you're going to go through things. And it's the more important thing is not to get bitter in your life. It's not to get bitter about the things that happen to you. And that stuff is hard because you're going to go out there and you're going to do right by people. And I know I'm over here talking about, oh, you need to do the right thing but people will screw you over when you do the right thing. Oftentimes it's like you feel like everything is being sucked away. It seems like it's more profitable to do evil in the world. And sometimes the monetary, the immediate, yes, it's more profitable at that time. At that time. But you got to be thinking about the future. Because a lot of dudes, they're thinking about right then, right now, right here, right now. The same dudes that end up in prison. The same dudes that end up on cell block C with Big Dick Tyrone. Same dudes they end up with this baby mama from hell. The same dudes they don't end up. And I'm not even. It's not about condemning them. I'm talking about what life do you really want to live in your life? What life do you want to live? What life do you want to live? Who do you want to be? You got to think about that when you're young, because I'm telling you, you as a young dude, they not going to give a rat's ass about you. Especially you a young black dude, you do not have time to waste. And I'm telling you, they're not going to give a rat's ass about you. People are not going to care. Even the people that's over there pretending that they care about you, they not going to care. Even with the Black Lives Matter movement, that stuff is made for black dudes getting killed down in the streets. But yet, you looking at them, they ain't got nothing to do with you. They's using people will use your blood. They will use you. That's what they would do. And I know this might seem cynical, harsh, nasty, but I'm talking about this is the real world. You walk outside, you thinking it's la la land. The people, this world is gonna drag you. They're gonna drag you up and down. They're gonna drag you. These females is gonna drag you. The American prison system is gonna drag you. The American court system is gonna drag you. People will drag you left and right, and you ain't gonna know if you coming or going. You're gonna be all over the place. You don't understand why. It's because you don't understand where you at. You don't understand where you at. You gotta understand where you at. You gotta understand where you at. You gotta understand that. But doing good, it will always benefit you in the future. Sometimes it's the short term is not necessarily gonna benefit you. But doing what is right, that you know is right, that is healthy, it creates this good energy on the interior. It creates good karma for you in the future. And sometimes I'm telling you, while you're doing good, there's gonna be times in your life you go through pure hell, and you was like, why would I? You almost feel like, why the hell do I even do anything good? Why should I? Look what's happening to me. Good people, they look what happened to good people. Look what they do. But it's like in the hell, you learn so many lessons of where you're making mistakes. In all that hell, you learn a lot of things about yourself, about what you haven't done. Maybe you don't have good boundaries. Maybe you don't have this, and this. You don't have certain qualities and traits, and it's going through the hell while you're still doing good that you learn lessons. You learn lessons. And I promise you, it's going to come a day that God is going to flip that doggone script, and now you back on top. And now you got everything, and you didn't have to snake, lie, steal, cheat, and do all this other stuff. It's not to say you perfect, and it's not to condemn those who have done it. But I'm telling you, you're gonna feel good about yourself as a person. You're gonna be confident, and you're gonna happy. You be happy. You got peace because you ain't scared. You ain't screw people over. You ain't gotta worry about all that stuff. That's what I'm talking about. Even as a young dude, I'm telling you, sometimes ego will get in your way. Sometimes ego will get in your way. Not sometimes, oftentimes, ego is going to get in your way. And so you got to make decisions even when you're younger to the best of your ability to make good decisions. Even when you mess up, be real. Take accountability in the sense you not blaming people for what you did. You did it. You did it. You made a decision. You made a choice. Whether or not you like the choice, maybe somebody was trying to pressure you into a choice. Maybe you didn't know the consequences of whatever's going to happen. Whatever it is, situation is, at the end of the day, as a man, you accept responsibility for what you have done and the consequences that come with it. No bitching, no crying, no whining, no none of that. Even when you in situations, you could be growing up in a poor neighborhood, a poor area, you get the worst education and you at such disadvantages all your life. Even in these dire circumstances, at the end of the day, you got to take accountability to understand I didn't put myself in these positions. I didn't put myself in this neighborhood. I didn't do none of this stuff. I ain't put myself in these education systems. But at the end of the damn day, it don't really matter because ain't nobody going to come in here and super save me or nothing like that. Nobody going to give a damn because I had a disadvantage in life. People set systems like this up on purpose. It's intentional. It's very much intentional. You think that these kids over here, they barely can read and these school systems are terrible, especially in these black communities? You think that stuff is on accident? Absolutely not. And again, I'm not trying to fuel no damn race stuff. I'm telling you, do not sit there and pay attention to that bull with race. Yes, there's problems between these two races, but the thing is, it's not necessarily just about white and black. There's the money. You got to understand money is the more important thing that's going on. People only care about the results at the end of the day. And so you cannot boggle yourself down with race. Race is a distraction that they use against you. Don't sit there and always pay attention. Oh, what the white people, who gives a rat's ass? You got to understand that these people are not, no, they're people. They're people. That's not to disrespect them or nothing like that. They're people. And so with that being said, you got to understand like, no, nobody going to give you a goddamn thing in life. And you're going to have to claw, punch, but you got to be a man enough to like say, okay, this is what I'm about to do. I'm about to go in there and I'm about to fight. I'm about to fight. And when you keep it real and you do your best to do good by people, you ain't gonna be perfect. I'm telling you, you're not about to go to bed at night with all these nightmares and stuff like that about how you did somebody dirty. You ain't gotta live in a state of regret. But people out there in that world will try to do you dirty. Not try to, they will. They will take the good and they will see your kindness and stuff like that. And they will take it as a weakness. And they will try to get over on you. And they will do all these things. And you will get in a space where you feel very bitter because you feel like you just did this and you did good by people and yet they screwed you over. You did good by this female and look what she did to you. You did good by these dudes up over here and look what they did. You did good by fam and look what they did to you. And that stuff makes you want to think, no, I better go to the damn dark side because I'll be a damn fool to stay here in this space of light or whatever the case may be. Stay with God because it look like everybody that's doing wrong getting paid. Everybody's doing wrong is moving ahead in life. Everybody's doing wrong, and then look at me. Look what I got. That devil gonna get in your ear. He gonna try to entice you, but I'm telling you, you do not want to go down that pathway. You're gonna go through hell, yes, but it's to get you to understand lessons. God trying to get you to understand lessons as a man. He wants you to be the leader. He's trying to get you to understand as a man. And you sometimes have to take a step back and understand that maybe you don't understand what's going on in your life and that why the hell and the chaos is there. But sometimes you take a step back if you got that connection with God. He's trying to tell you things, even if he doesn't tell you in the times that you're going through the things. He gives you the clarity and the understanding of why you went through things when you get up out that pit, when he pulls you up out that pit that you're going to go through in your life. But at the end of the day, you be a bad son of a bitch once you get up out that pit. You're going to be a bad son of a bitch and you realize, wow, and you're going to gain so much power that you never thought that you could ever get. But in all this, I say all that to say is because one of the biggest components and one of the things that you're going to have to deal with the most is your ego. And you're going to have to deal with other people's egos too. Ego, like ego, again, everything is a balance. Everything is a balance. The balance to ego or the opposite of ego is typically humility. And sometimes you can go into a space of humility, and it's important to be humble. And what humility means is that you don't think, you understand that every human being is the same in the sense of our blood, our lifespan, and everything like that. Every man is the same. It's like in the eyes of God. But what people of the world will do is they will put other people on pedestals based off what they got, their money, their status, their fame, their their brilliance or their intelligence. And it's not to say that you don't respect people for what they do. You might admire people, but you don't idolize them. You don't put them up on a pedestal and worship them like they're gods, or act as though that they're just somehow inherent and they're better because they have more money than you. That doesn't matter if you have millions of dollars in your bank account. It's like you should still treat a man on the street the same way that you might treat somebody up over here. The difference is that person's personal conduct. That's the difference. That is the difference. Because it's people that got a lot of money that's complete dicks and assholes. And so you treat them in a certain type of way. You might treat them with like a certain level of, not necessarily disrespect, but you treat them in such a way because their conduct says that this is how you need to treat certain individuals. You might treat them some type of way, and a homeless man on the street a different type of way, but it's not because of their stations in life. You treat them that way because of their behavior, because of what they've shown you with their behavior. That's why you treat them differently. But a lot of people, they will do is they will treat somebody that has money much more with much more respect than they do with somebody that don't have money. That's what they will do. They would treat somebody that's famous one way, but they'll treat somebody who's not famous a whole completely different type of way, with disregard and disrespect, especially if they feel like they better than that person or they got more than that person. They treat that person like they're nothing. And so it's like, no, don't go down that line, that road. You ain't got to go down that road disrespecting people, because it's like when you put yourself in that position, you feel like you're better than other people. You will always be inherently inferior, in the sense that at the moment that you're saying like I'm better than this person because this person ain't got as much as me, there will always be people who got way more than you. Now you a big fish in a small pond in certain areas, but what happens when you step on the other side of the railroad tracks? Who are you then? And so if you basing yourself and who you are as an individual purely based off of what you got in your hand, that female that's laying in your bed, the stuff, this, trust and believe me, you're gonna have seasons of your life, either God or the damn devil, one of the two, they're gonna strip every damn thing away from you. All that stuff is gonna get stripped away from you. Everything. Who are you when you ass butt naked? Who are you then? Because a lot of people, they're somebody, they're big, boastful, and they're confident when they have. But then they turn to a whole nother person when they don't. Ego is it, like their ego runs wild. It's not to say, man, some people, man, they work their ass off. And this is the thing, you give people their flowers. You can respect people for people who work their ass off to get where they are. So don't get me wrong. It's like not no hating mess, nothing like that at all. It's like you respect them. Like, yeah, oh man, you can have respect, but you ain't idolizing these people like they God. They still a man. They still a man. But people, they be thinking that they're so much better than other people because of whatever they got. And some of these people, they get humbled. And it's like, you do not, the thing is, you need to be humble prior to getting. Because if you are not humble prior to getting, God will humble you. And you don't want God to humble you. You don't want him to humble you. You do not want him to humble you. And with that humility, it's in just an understanding you're no better than the next man. It's not to say that you don't work hard, or the other people, if they don't necessarily work hard or whatever the case may be, you're not sitting there feeling like I'm much better than this person because I got gifts. Yes, you might have gifts, but that don't make you mean you better than the next man. But also in the same vein, your ego needs to be in check and just enough to understand that you also should not be out there selling yourself short, because there's people that be too humble. I was too humble at times in my life, and you might be too humble at times in your life, and you might be in positions where people are now taking advantage of you because you too humble. In other cases, you could be too arrogant or prideful. You're so, you know what I mean? Like you thinking your gifts is better than, makes you better than other people. And so in life, again, it's a balance. It's cliche, but it's the truth. God says that anything that's not balanced is an abomination in the eyes of God. So even in that, like, you have to have the right amount of humility. Otherwise, you're going to get dragged up and down the place, and people will walk all up over you, and they will not give you what you deserve and what you need in this life. So that's why you also have to have the ego in balance. So you do know how much you're worth. You do know how to fight and stand up and create boundaries and things and be selfish at times. You know what I'm saying? But you also have to understand when not to be selfish at times. But that takes time and understanding. And it takes you sometimes to go to hell. I mean, go to hell. It takes you to go through hell to understand that balance that I'm talking about between humility and ego. If you're not careful, you're going to let your ego do things that your rational mind would never do. Your ego has it that now you might, like a lot of times, like some dudes that be with a female, and the female, like, he find out that she doing whatever, instead of just leaving this girl, dropping her ass like a hot tamale and keep it pushing to the next, what they would do is they'll go back and forth with this female. They'll try to play games with this female like the female is playing games with them, not even recognizing, like, you keeping this negative person up in your life. You already deduced that this woman is not good for you. Why are you still keeping on to her playing games? Because oftentimes they run into problems trying to get back at this female or trying to get back at another dude. They find themselves in problems, or they find themselves where they are now in a situation where they're afraid to look like back down from something, because other people are watching. In their rational mind, they might be in a situation that they know that they need to be humble enough to back down from this, that it's not worth the fight, and they need to just move forward. But because other people are looking and they use ego primarily, they gonna make a decision that they know is wrong. They gonna make a decision that they know damn well they about to do 25 years. They know they about to do that, but they can't let other people around them. The ego oftentimes is more so about immediate gratification. It's about what the external validation from other people. It's about yourself as too, but your ego, you have an idea about who you are. There's a lot of people that solely run off of ego. You do not want to be one of those type of people. I'm trusting and believe me, because these people, they're hovering above ground. They're hovering. They are delusional in a lot of ways. And it's like these people will become extremely prideful. And when you're prideful, you think that you're already the best version. Again, you think that you're Jesus 2.0 when you're extremely prideful and arrogant. You think everybody else is below you. Even if people don't say it out their mouth, they might act and pretend to be humble, but they're extremely arrogant and prideful. You know what I mean? People can just put on acts. But oftentimes these type of people will always show themselves is because they think that they're so much better than everybody else. They think that they're so great in a lot of ways that they don't recognize what they're doing is leading them to their grave. They can't see. They're blinded. They're completely blinded. And so oftentimes these people's downfall is by their own doing. They will tear their own life up by their own hands, thinking that they're trying to destroy others or do whatever, or that they're above reproach. They will be humbled by God, and they will fall into ditches because their pride blinds them to reality. That's why humility comes in, where humility grounds you. It grounds you. But people who have too much ego, they're hovering above. They're Jesus 2.0. They're hovering above the ground. They can't see. So that's why they don't see the pitfalls and the traps, and they always going through crazy stuff in their life because they're too damn prideful and arrogant, and their arrogance blinds them to reality. In the same vein, you being too humble, you gonna get walked all over. People gonna drag you up and down the doggone place. They're gonna take from you, gonna steal from you. And you're going to go through certain things in your life in general. But understand, when you are making decisions, you have to understand that balance between ego and humility, and understand everybody else ain't like you. Everybody else don't want the humble side of it. Everybody else don't necessarily have that egotistical portion of it. But you're going to have to start to walk away from certain things. You're going to have to do things in certain ways where at the time it might feel uncomfortable. Dropping people, walking away from certain environments that's toxic and corrosive. When somebody done you dirty, you really want to get back at them. You got to understand that you should not fight every fight. If you fight every fight, you are going to lose in life. Even business people, they understand how blood is bad for business. And when I mean with blood is bad for business, when people are fighting and there's war, That means that it dries up the doggone production and the ability for a business person, a company, or whatever the case that may be, to make money. So oftentimes, especially like when you see these big companies, and it's not even necessarily war, but like you can imagine, like if one of the Black Lives Matter protests came and they were protesting the company, the company would try to acquiesce in some way, shape, or form, or they'll kowtow to a certain degree, or try to hurry up and end the problem and try to get these people up off their porch, because they understand that while these people are down there, they're messing up their money. And that's why the people will protest in certain ways for the very first place. Is because they understand that it's going to interfere with people's money. War is bad for business. So going back and forth in the same vein with people, with everybody, is bad for business. You got to understand when to go to war and when not to go to war. And what I mean with that is you got to understand when to fight and when not to fight. That takes time. You try to fight everybody, then you will never get where you need to go in life. You will be embroiled in drama, and you're going to be on cell block C with Big Dick Tyrone. You're going to be on cell block C if you're trying to fight every damn body. People will intentionally put you in drama on purpose. The devil is going to find and pick people in your life. You're going to go through pure hell on purpose. And if you swinging at everything that come at you, you're going to be so damn tired by the end of the damn baseball game. You can't hit nothing because you've been swinging. You lost all your energy fighting. In the same vein, if you don't fight at times, people will drag you up and down. You will be a doormat. And you damn sure do not ever, people won't have respect for you. And so you got to figure out what this delicate balance is, where you pick your battles. That takes time, and that takes growth as you as a person, when you get to learn yourself. And this is so important, because when you know who you are, the world can't come in and try to tell you who you not. When you know who you are, you know what you've done, you solid, you confident. You're very confident in who you are. You ain't got to put on a fake facade, a front, or nothing like that. You ain't got to act like you something that you not. You self-validate yourself because you know who you are. And the more trials and tribulations that you go through in your life, you learn who you are even more, because you recognize spaces in your life where you might have not necessarily been up on your game. Like, for example, a female can come into your life. You're a real young dude. Damn near every man on this earth, especially I'm pretty sure every man in general, but especially a heterosexual man, I don't give a damn who they are. Every man on this earth at one point in time met that one goddamn girl that came in, and they was whatever. They was head over heels in love with this female. They put this female on a pedestal. They don't realize that they started to put this female on a pedestal over God. They took God off the pedestal and they put this woman onto a pedestal. Every man has probably done that. Maybe with the first one, maybe with the second one. Some dudes, it was the 16th woman that came in, and for whatever reason, she was the one. She was the one that had his number. And then this type of woman is able to come in and cause chaos in your life, destruction, pure and utter destruction in your life. And that stuff can leave you jaded, scarred, or whatever the case may be. And you got to pull yourself up out those depths. And that stuff is hard to do, especially when you really put and invested in this female, this very first female, whatever the case may be. All the rest of the females you didn't really give a damn about, but this one female you actually cared for whatever reason. And then whatever happened, the dissolution of that relationship, that stuff can hurt as a dude, because it's like you don't invest in every female. So if you invest in a female and that doesn't pan out, that stuff hurt. And so as you as a man, you got to be honest with you. Like, that stuff hurt. That hurt. You ain't got to tell every man. Hell, you ain't got to tell nobody but your damn self and God. God know. But you can go through something like that, and that stuff hurts like hell. And so it's in understanding, like, you got to sometimes pull yourself up out of those places, even though you might have not known. Even like sometimes your homeboy or somebody else can tell you, like, hey man, you better watch that girl. You better watch. But you so invested in this female, you blinded. You blinded. And then inevitably, whatever happens, and it grounds you, puts you back to reality. A lot of dudes, they never recover from something like that, from that type of heartbreak. They never recover from something like that. There's some dudes out there that don't. There's a lot of the dudes, they learn how to pull their damn self up out that pit and learn that, okay, well, I realize I put this person on the pedestal. I realize men and women are not the same. I realize a lot of things. And so when I move forward, I understand women have a nature It's not you hate them. It's I understand have a nature. In the same vein, men have a nature. You're just gonna go through things, and it's important to understand. Like sometimes a lot of men, they are so damn they manhood in general. It's about strength. Strength. What man on this earth wants to be called soft? What man on this earth wants to appear to be weak? What man on this earth does not want respect? Hell no. Every man wants to. But as a man, you got to understand, you got to be strong enough to understand you're going to go through weak periods in your life. Ain't no damn man on this earth has been solid all their damn life. They've been strong their whole life. They some goddamn liars. And those are the people I'm talking about. This is what dudes will do. They peacock. I call them peacocking. And I learned this a very long time ago. And I learned not to do this. But what dudes oftentimes do with this peacocking is they run up in a room, they trying to puff out their damn chest around other dudes, trying to act and trying to be the biggest, baddest dude in the damn room. Even if the dude, there'll be some dudes that'll run up in a spot. They can't even fight. They can't fight. They can't fight worth nothing. But they understand they got to put on the facade that they tough. So they'll run in with their chest all out and everything like that, barking, barking, doing all this crazy stuff. It's like you can see right through these type of people. But it's funny because it's like people, other dudes, half of the dudes, it's like they can't even see it. They don't even realize like this dude is faking. He can't even fight. He can't even fight. But it's like they'll accept that person because they think that that person is strong. Because it's like like they think that that person is strong and standing up and like being tough and stuff like that. When you can clearly see that this dude is just it's a fake facade, it's a front. This dude can't even fight. He wouldn't even swing if y'all had a fight. But then if you're not doing that, they think that they can come up and try you. You might be in spaces in your life like that. And it's like like I know myself as a person. I realized a very long time ago with dudes, certain dudes in general. I told you, you got to pick your battles. But I always was the type of individual. I remember I had a fight like a couple of times. But like when I was very young, I learned this. Just because a person look a certain type of way does not mean that they are that way. And what I mean is some people, they look like they buff as heck. They strong. They look like they strong. And I had a fight with somebody, and I was very thin. I was always thin my whole life. But then I was going against this buff dude. I thought this buff dude was about to flip me. I thought he was about to just toss me around. I thought it was a done deal when we was about to do this fight. But I was like, I ain't about to let this dude punk me. But I ran into the fight and everything like that. And I like you'd be surprised. I folded that dude so doggone quickly. It was crazy. It was crazy. And this dude like he was so much stronger than me. And it was then at that point, and I realized in life, yo, just because people look a certain type of way doesn't mean that they are that way. It doesn't mean that they are that way. And so with that being said, I don't necessarily need to do anything. I understand myself as a man. If somebody come up to me, I'm gonna fault this person just like I did somebody else. And I know it's just that one person that's like that. But what I'm saying is just because a person look thin, there'll be some people that's very thin they are extremely strong. And then there's a lot of dudes or people in general who are like they look big, but they very weak, like their muscles. It's like what is going. I don't understand it. But it's like I realize, if somebody gonna try me, and I ain't gonna go back and forth with people. I'm not about to sit here with no grown ass dude or whatever the case is. In my youth, I was like, I ain't gonna go back and forth. If we gonna fight, we gonna fight. If we not, shut up and get up out my face. If we gonna swing, swing. If not, all right, what you doing this for? Because some dudes sit there and they just barking. They trying to peacock, kind of act like they hard and stuff like that. It's not to say that you hard or whatever the case may be, but it's like I realized that stuff a long time ago. I ain't about to sit there and go back and forth with people. If you think you froggy, if you froggy, come on and leap, and we gonna see what it is. And sometimes it's got to be your mentality where you're not going back and forth with dudes all damn day. Some dudes, man, they just like to talk. They like little chihuahuas. They like chihuahuas. It's like, nigga, shut up and come swing then. Like, let's go get into the ring then. Stop talking. Let's fight. Like, what you doing? Like, why you talking all the doggone time? But that's sometimes how some dudes is. It's like they just talk. They talk, they talk, they talk. They not about no doggone action. So it's like, don't sit there and waste your goddamn time with that. You get around people if another dude that's about that action, and then y'all go out there. It's like these type of dudes. Like you can respect the dude like that. I respect the dude. Okay, we about to go out there and start swinging. We about to go out there and swing, and then you sometimes you be cool with that person afterwards. Like it's like Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can go kick it with that individual that you out there swinging with, but it's like it's a dude that's over there barking all the damn time or doing little gestures and stuff like that, like he hiding behind his homeboys and stuff like that. You got to understand how some of these dudes is. They trying to act and trying to put on an image that they hard, they tough, they this. I ain't saying that you the toughest nigga in the room. I'm not saying that either. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying none of that stuff. I'm saying you could be a type of dude that's ready about that action. You ain't got to be afraid. You ain't got to sit there and go back and forth with people. It's a waste of your damn time. And I'm telling you, a lot of dudes, they do something called peacocking. I call it peacocking. Like, they trying to puff out their chest and try to act hard. They're trying to pretend, and they get away with it a lot of times. But it's like people, when they pull their damn card, it's like you realize that a lot of these dudes, they get away with that because a lot of dudes don't pull these person's card, but they're gonna meet the right doggone one. And so you got to be focused on your life to understand that this stuff is going to happen. People will get very brave. They get very froggy when they get other people around them and they feel like they can go against you by yourself. That's what they want to do. Understand that these type of dudes is weak. They're weak. They're weak as hell. You can fight people by yourself and you don't necessarily even need an army of people around you. But you do that stuff because you stand on the truth. You stand on God. You ain't got to be afraid of, and it's droves of people that can come up against you, and you don't have to be afraid because it's like you gonna knock them all down every time. You ain't got to prove nothing to nobody. If they put their hands on you, they gonna see what it is. So I'm not saying you should ever let nobody in any way, shape, or form. Even you should never let nobody try to punk you. You should never let nobody try to disrespect you. But I'm also saying understand when to pick your battles. Sometimes instead of swinging, it's best to get up and leave. Sometimes you're gonna be in places there's no winning. You can get up and you can swing, but you about to get mollywopped by everybody. That's not to be afraid. I'm not saying you ain't gotta go get mollywopped. What I'm saying is it worth it? If you ready to die, that's you as a man. If you ready, I don't care. I'm about to run up in here and I'm about to go out this bitch in a blaze of glory. That's one thing. That's you as a man. That's who you are as a man. But what's the long term benefit? Do you see the long term benefit in doing this? What is the long term benefit? That's where your mindset should be. But people who are people, a lot of these dudes, you'd be surprised. A lot of dudes, they're very immature. They're grown ass men and they're very immature. They got the spirit of a damn teenage girl. You'd be surprised. Grown ass men, but they've been raised by out of the people in this society nowadays. You got to recognize that half these dudes is some goddamn fools, not going nowhere with their life. And what they want to do is try to get you off course and try to get in your way. And so, yes, sometimes you got to swing. Sometimes you got to bark at people. Sometimes you got to really get up. But other times you got to recognize this is a damn lose-lose situation. I will fight somebody that's actually worth fighting. I will go back and forth with somebody that's actually worth going back and forth with. And that's at your discretion as a man. But you got to know who you are as a person. You got to know. Understand the insecurity. Do not underestimate. I could care less about what the next man has. The next man, he can have more money than you. He can have better cars than you. His females might, by other people's standards, might look better than yours. All that stuff. He can have all that stuff, but he'll still be extremely jealous of you. He'll still be envious of you because the interior of you is that goodness, is that interior. You do things, it's a whole nother way. You got another spin on it. It's just something special about it. Whereas they fake it and they pretend it. So whatever they do is mediocre at best. At best. And so they able to look like they're a grand person as long as you're not in the picture. But watch what happens when you come in the picture. They so hard pressed about you. Why do they care about your life so much? They're trying to make it seem as though it seems as though they have a better job than you. They have more money than you. Yet again, some people might consider, oh, this woman look better than your woman. The cars, the this, but they so pressed about you. Why is that? Why is that? Understand how insecure people are out here, especially men. That ego is extremely easily to be broken. It's because it's a fake facade that people got holding up, and they're good as long as they're the biggest fish in the pond, as long as they're the brightest light in the room. But when you come in, watch what happens. Understand how weak these dudes will be, how dudes in general out here in this world will be. A lot of these dudes, they lack integrity. They lack any type of integrity. And that's why you as a man, you got to understand that you cannot be fooling around with people that lack integrity. You know why? Is they're like pigs. They will do anything. They don't care. They'll do anything with anybody. If they gotta snake you to do get something, they will do it. And they like it's like they'll you know what I'm saying? But like understand that these people they live, man, they gotta live with that karma of what they be doing out there in that world. They be miserable. A lot of these dudes they suffer in silence. That's why I'm talking about you gotta know yourself. You gotta go through your traumas, understand your emotions. That stuff ain't weak, it's not soft. It's only weak and soft if you over there trying to cry in front of other people, trying to get other people to be sympathetic towards you. It's only weak if you don't recognize who the hell you telling your business to. It's weak in the sense that you as a man is not weak, but it's a weak point in you. It's a gateway in which another man or other people can come in and get at your vulnerabilities. That's why it's weak. It's not weak in the sense that it's, whatever, but it's weak in that you're opening yourself up for an attack. That's when it's weak. Oftentimes, the only man that you can ever tell your problems to is God and God alone. That's the only one. Maybe if you get blessed by God, He can give you another person, but for the most part, a lot of dudes, I'm telling you, it just is what it is. But that's what I'm saying was you as a man, you have to understand this. You're going to go through things in your life and you're going to realize, wow, people you hanging around, they got a problem with you. They jealous of you. They got all this in this envy and this negative energy towards you. They gonna act like it's something completely different. They gonna make it seem as though who is you? Again, they got all this stuff over you. Like why would they be jealous of you? Why would they care about you? But you gonna know it's because they got something slick out their mouth all damn day. They focused on you all damn day. They go out their way to try to bring you into things that you have nothing to do with, but they want your input, they want your attention, I'm telling you. But that damn devil gonna try to get people to break you down through your ego. Through your ego. Some slimy dudes will even go as far as trying to get with your girl or your whatever, whatever. And if they succeed, you gotta understand the blessing in that. Cause it just revealed two snakes that you had by you. I ain't gonna say that stuff ain't got like has some type of stinging effect, but I promise to God will always heal you. He will always get you back. He will always get you back, and it's not like these people has done that much of a damage. It's not even necessarily, but it's like you recognize, yo, I had two snakes around me. That was a blessing, and people will expose themselves in that way. Dudes in your life will expose themselves in that way, and understand why they do that stuff is out of envy and jealousy. A lot of dudes will never admit that type of stuff towards you. They gonna make it seem as though it's everything else, but they always got something. It's always something with you. And then they always come at you in droves. They got to come at you in cliques. They got to come at you in armies against you. And they always fall. They always fall because it's like you operate with that God inside of you. You do things the right way. You ain't perfect. You ain't always tell the truth. You ain't always tell lies, but you know doggone well you out here moving right by people. You ain't got nothing to worry about. You solid. So when people lie on you, they defame your character and stuff like that, you ain't even got to go back. It's a fight that you don't even fight. You don't fight it because it's a useless fight. It's a fruitless fight. It's fruitless in the sense that you gotta understand some people they already turned on you. They've already condemned you before you open up your mouth. It don't matter what you say. And so with that being said, and with that you understand that you don't go back and forth and try to prove people and tell people of any damn thing. If people that know you, they know what's the truth and what's not the truth. And in the end, the truth is always gonna come out. You stand on the solid foundation of God, so you can stand alone, regardless of whether or not people believe you. It really don't matter. You can get up and leave. It's no big deal. You ain't got to defend yourself against lies because when you do, it makes you look like you're guilty. It makes it look like that you are actually the one in the wrong. So that's why you don't even sit there and entertain BS. You don't entertain it. You got to stay steadfast and you know who you are as a man. You know what you've done. You know how you moved. You know who you helped. You know what you didn't do. You know sometimes you was wrong. You know a lot of times you was right. So it's like even if the lies and allegations come up against you and people try to turn their back against you, that's a blessing in disguise. Snake, 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 snake. You realize you're in a den of snakes. Okay. And it's not, again, it's not to say that you're just gonna be not affected by those things. Yes, it's gonna be some trauma, but I'm telling you, it's not gonna be like what people trying to make it out to be, trying to destroy you. It's never gonna be like that. Understand, being people, they will hate you because of the good things that you do in life, because of the integrity that you have, because you had that, because you told the truth, because you were truthful. People trying to run into your past, trying to find out who you are as a person and what you've done, and trying to find any little dirt on you, only to find nothing, because there's nothing there. Even if it was there, you told them, I don't care. I told you what it was. I told you what I did. I'm not afraid. So people can't beat you over the head with your mistakes. They can't embarrass you or try to make you feel a certain type of way because of your mistakes, because you've already know who you are as a man. You already know what you've done. You humble enough to admit, like, yeah, that's all I did. And your ego is still intact. That just because that's what I did don't make me a terrible person, don't make me any less than. So you see, you still have that balance there. You humble enough to admit it, but you also have enough understanding in yourself to understand that stuff don't break me. Yeah, I did it, but it don't break me. I learned from that. In the same vein, let's open up your files. Let's open up your what y'all be doing in the closet. If they don't want to down, people, they run away from that type of stuff. When you speak the truth, man, people are gonna hate your goddamn guts. Cause me and people, they live a life of lies. Their life is filled with nothing but utter lies. And as a man, you gotta live a reality. I'm telling you, now the damn soul's gonna care about you. They might care about them females. They might care about them kids. But you as a man, as a black dude, are you crazy? Hell no, I'm not give a damn about you. And again, I ain't got. I'm not trying to go into that race bull stuff. I'm not talking about white people. I'm not talking about none of that stuff. I'm talking about as a black dude, they not gonna give a damn about you. I'm not talking about white people. I'm talking about in general. They're not gonna give a rat's ass about you. Nobody. Not a damn one. Even these people that's claiming that they care about you. Hell, even the damn black women ain't gonna give a damn about you. Hell, half the time they is the ones that gonna throw your ass in jail if they could. They not gonna give a damn about you either. And so like that's the world. And that's life. And so it's like, man, don't beat yourself down. But the more important thing is, what does God think about you? Does God got your back? Sometimes I don't feel like I'm telling you. Does he have your back? Is he in your corner? Does he know what you did? You don't do things to impress people. You do things to impress God. You ain't got to broadcast everything in every charitable or good or kind thing that you do to people. You ain't got to put your life on blast so people can look at you and say, oh, yeah, he's the dude. You ain't got to show people your money. You ain't got to show people where you living. You ain't got to show people your girl. You ain't got to show people how many girls you with or whatever the case might be. You ain't got to show people not a goddamn thing. But the world wants you to do that, to open yourself up. And when people do that, they make themselves completely vulnerable. And that's why they're ass backwards and they're all over the place. Is because the world is in a business, because they putting it all out on Front Street. They making themselves vulnerable. And so people, they will villainize you. They will demonize you, especially if you're more so introverted, because that's how you have to be sometimes. A lot of times you don't tell people your business. You don't tell them, not out of you trying to hide, not out of you trying to be deceitful. You don't tell them because it's none of their damn business. And people, they don't take your information and go over there and try to do something good with it. They're not going to bring world peace with your information. They're going to try to bring your life destruction. That's what they're going to try to do with your information and tear it up. That's why people, they will try to befriend you, try to act like they're your best family member, try to act like they're your best coworker, your best community member, or whatever your situation is, to get in close, to hear all your good secrets, to hear who you are and where you're going, what you got, this, and this, so they can find out ways to sabotage you with other goddamn conspirators. This might sound far fetched, but I'm telling you, when you trying to move forward in life and do well, like as a man in life, that's what people will do. Try to break you down. They will fail always. They will always fail. Those arrogant bastards think that they're going to win. They're not. Those prideful bastards fall right into those ditches. Every time. They lose every time, and they can't understand why. They snake people their whole lives, and they don't understand why their life is a living hell. I'm telling you, you do not want to live a life where you, all your past transgressions and everything negative that you've done, it comes back and it haunts you. It's going to come back and bite you in the ass. Karma is real. Tables turn. And so it's like, you better do what's right the first time. You got to do what's right the first time, not the second. You don't want to go through things. You don't want to have to lose out on a good woman that you had because you was just playing with her, or like you thought she was always gonna be there, and she got up one day, she left, she bounced, and then now you got to deal with these females out here that's like, the females out here. You don't want to put yourself in that position. You don't want to put yourself in the position where you screwing over people that's got your back. You doing them dirty or whatever the case may be. You don't have no integrity about you. You don't want to be that type of man. And it takes time, it takes a lot of self-discipline, it takes a lot. And of course people gonna come up against you, but that when you got God inside you, ain't a damn human being on this earth can ever beat you. They can keep on coming at you in droves. They can come at you in armies and they keep falling. They can't beat you. They can't beat you because you are unbeatable. You got God on yourself. It's a damn done deal. These people lost before they ever started. The game was already done a long time ago. That they didn't realize it. It was the game was done the moment that they started. They thought that they was winning. They never was. But with you as a man, that's where you got to understand the balance between humility and ego. It takes time. Sometimes you're gonna be way too damn high up on your pedestal. You'll start to think you better than other people because you're doing well. You these females chasing about you. You got that money. You got the status. You got little yacht yacht. And so you all the way up here. So you might look at people like, man, you ain't nothing if you down here. And so you might be disrespectful, and then you might fall all the way down to the ground. You ain't got none of that stuff no more. Them people that was around you, your friends are like Casper the Friendly Ghost at this point. Because they might be there in spirit. Their ass is not there in physical flesh. They're gone. They dipped. They left. People leave you. And that will humble you because it'll open up your eyes to reality. Them females ain't coming when you ain't got that money and that status no more. They not coming. They not coming like they was in the past. And you got to work through all this stuff. You got all this hell going on around you, and it humbled you. In the same vein, sometimes you be too damn humble, and and people dragging you up and down. You don't care about the money, and people shortchanging you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you not taking what is yours. It's okay to sometimes be humble, but it's also you got to understand your value and understand how people try to get over. And so when you recognize people trying to get over on you, this is what I'm talking about as a man. The quality that you gotta have, you can't have no zero tolerance policy for people that take your kindness for weakness, who take what you give. And I'm talking about any woman, man, friend, family, foe. I don't give a rat's ass who they are. If they're a human being on this earth, they can get it. They can get it. And they gonna get it if they cross you. And that's the mentality that you gotta have. Anybody that take your kindness for weakness, they think that they about to come in and benefit up off of you and thinking it's sweet. Have no mercy for these people. Have not a shred of mercy. You should never let nobody play with that part of you. Never let nobody play with the generosity, that generous side of you. You gotta understand, you gotta protect it like that's an innocent child almost. That's precious jewels because that comes from God. You don't ever let nobody exploit that part of you. Have no mercy when it comes to people who do that type of stuff, who come in thinking they about to play you or take your kindness for weakness. Have not a shred of mercy because it's like it's too damn hard to try to do good in this world. It's too damn hard to try to be kind. It's too goddamn hard. It's too hard to do it. And now you got people, especially they supposed to be on your side in some way, shape, or form, and they bringing chaos into your life. Hell no. Hell no. Be ruthless. This is where you at. This is the time where I'm talking about be absolutely ruthless, heartless with people like this. You gotta be cold hearted. It's because I'm telling you, that stuff does not change. These people are like parasites. I care not what their flesh is. I care not about who they are. If they're a human being on this earth, they can get it and they need to get it. And don't play with it. It's just that serious. It's very serious. Those that part of you is a precious gift from God. You need to defend it at all costs. Because when you don't, people come in and stealing your jewels. They're stealing them. They're weakening you, taking away your peace, taking away your happiness, taking away your joy. You seeping into depression because of these people that's around you. Absolutely not. You got me messed up. I'm cut these goddamn demons off with the quickness. I will let these because I'm telling you, it also is going to get to a point where you got so many these damn demons around you that you got to turn into the damn devil. They make you turn into the devil just to be around these demons. You're going to be on cell block C with Big Dick Tyrone playing with these type of people for the simple fact that these people, they will push you and they will get you to the point where you snap. Now you go get an AK and spray that bitch up, making everybody look like they Swiss cheese in that bitch. This is Columbine 3.0, because you got 3 times the body in this bad boy. And now you're going to be on Channel 6 News. Now you in Cell Block C with Big Dick Tyrone. And Big Dick Tyrone, he likes people that look like you. I don't want to go to Cell Block C. I don't want to go to Cell Block C. You put me in Cell Block D? No, that's Big Dick Darius is over there. You want to go to Cell Block D? That's worse. he put the Big Dick Darius is something different. You don't want to go there. You might as well go to Cell Block C. Big Dick Tyrone is better than Big Dick Darius. I don't know why I'm talking about this, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You don't want to go. I'm just saying. I'm saying. But in general, I'm just saying, man, that's what I'm talking about. Because you don't want to end up in situations like that. You do not want to end up in situations where you don't want to put yourself in situations where people around you are provoking you. They're trying to get you to a point where you snap. Because it's like you going to snap and snap some people's heads in half or their neck in half. Snap their goddamn life away. They're dead. That's how you're going to be one day. And you do not want to be at that point. And so you should not be putting yourself in positions around people who can even remotely bring that damn demon up out of you. They can bring that dark side, because you need that dark side. You need that vicious son of a bitch up over there. You need him. That cold-hearted son of a bitch. You need that one. That will bark and that will jump on people. You need that part. But you also got to understand how to contain that bastard. Contain that bastard and do not let it out on people who are not worth it. You don't want to go back and forth with people who are not worth it and waste your life away and give up your life for people who are never, ever, ever worth it. If you're going to kill or you're going to pull out that dark person, man, at least make it worth it. Make it worth. Hey, man, yeah, I killed him. I did what I did. Where I'm going. 25 years, I'll take that 25 years. I'll take that 25 for what I did. It was very much worth it why I did what I did. But a lot of these people ain't never worth it. They not worth it. And so that's why you got to get away. Because these people, man, it's like they got demons inside of them. I'm telling you, man, they got demons, and demons don't stop. They don't stop. They don't stop. That's why sometimes you got to be by yourself and be a loner in a lot of ways. It's because it's like, man, you going to have to go in swinging every day. And so you recognize, and you can never be productive in your life. Focus on drama, going back and forth with people all day. That's when you realize, you know what? The way that I'm gonna handle this situation, I'm about to remove certain people. I'm about to do this. I'm about to do that. I'm about to do what it takes to make myself happy and be at a state of peace, to protect myself. Understand, ain't nobody else on this earth gonna protect you like you gonna protect you. Nobody on this earth gonna give a damn about you like you give a damn about you. Trust and believe me. They don't care about your peace as much as you care about your peace. They don't care about your success as much as you do. A lot of people, they want the very opposite of that. They don't want you to be successful. They'll do whatever it takes to not make you successful. People that you'll never expect, never, ever, ever expect. They are the very ones that do not want you to be there. And they will do everything in their power to make sure you never get to that place. So, and again, this is not just dudes on the street. I'm talking about this is family. This is friends. This is anybody around you. Snip, snip, cuddity clip. We out this bitch. It's because you gotta let people go, because they got whatever demons on them. If I stay around you, I'm gonna have to become the damn devil. So with that being said, that's the humility. That's the ego and the humility. You humble enough to understand that I don't like this, and you're very conscious. But your ego is telling you, I don't need this. I don't deserve this. So your ego is going to help you get the hell away. You have to have that balance, and it takes time. You got to practice humility. Understand that you're not necessarily always the best. You're not the one that what I mean. You ain't always got to be the leader. Sometimes the best leader understands how to be a follower at times. In other words, like you understand how to learn from other people. Humility is making yourself like a student to certain people. Even your enemies will teach you if you humble enough to learn. Even your enemies will teach you. And that's when you're going through the hell in your life, the parts in your life where everything is going to hell. Oftentimes, you're going to have a lot of enemies around you, and they will be your teachers. They will be your teachers. I mean, God is ultimately your teacher, but He's going to use these people to teach you. He's going to use them like demonstrations. They're like little models. They're like little, you know what I mean? Like how the scientists would. I'm a biology major, so you know when they used to bring in like the skeletons and stuff like that, and then the teacher will tell you like what it was. That's exactly like what these people are. They're like the skeleton, and God will use them as a way to teach you things. But even they teach you if you're humble enough to listen and learn. But in general, and you can learn from most things and everybody, but just in general, understand your value and understanding like, look, man, you're gonna go through things in this life. No, you should never ever let nobody punk you, play you, or nothing like that. Moving in wisdom, humility, and ego is it's not easy to like really attain that level, and nobody is even remotely perfect at it. But you as a man, as you continuously grow, you'll understand what I'm talking about, and you'll understand who you are as a man. I'm not the same way as you, so you might handle things differently than I would because that's who you are as a man. You might be able to tolerate things more that I did not tolerate. The same thing, vice versa. But this dependent upon who you are as a man. Well, all in all, you know where you want to go, and you got to be the director and the writer of your life in the sense that I mean, in the way that like, okay, well, you got to let God take it because God is really the one. But I'm talking about you take His cues from Him. You don't take your cues from man because man's gonna steer you in the wrong direction. Man is going to try to grab you and make you go wherever they want you to go. And this is when you tell man, hell no, you got me messed up. Are you God? No, they're not. They don't know where the hell they're going. They want you to do something that's going to benefit them. They want your life to be some type of way where it's going to benefit them, make them look better in life. Have you lost your rabbit ass mind? Yes, they have. Because they only give a damn about themselves. So with all that being said, I'm telling you, watch that ego. And understand when you're navigating the ego with other men and stuff like that and other people, understand, man, like people that got demons on them and they going through whatever they're going through. You don't fight every fight. You recognize, see who a person is. Sometimes you recognize this person's a damn fool. I'm not about to go back and forth with no damn fool. Other times you recognize, okay, this person might be a little bit, they got foolish tendencies, but maybe, they just a little bit immature. Other people you recognize, okay, this dude got a good head on his shoulder or whatever case. He's rational, he's logical. This is the type of individual, okay, I can rock with. We can even go outside and box and whatever the case may be. Like I would fight a person like this because they got integrity. Like it's like because it's honor it's at the basic. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like I can go back and forth with this type of person. This person's a damn snake. Not worth my time. So with all that being said, I catch y'all on the flip side. Peace.